The performance management training, which would be directed at store managers, would include the following exercises and content and information that we would in turn expect them to put into practice in their management of their store employees, with the areas that were identified in the assessment and in our earlier conversation about greeting customers and upselling, especially in those two areas. So in this training, at the beginning, the manager writes down specific standards, does an exercise to write down and present to the group what are the standards for a store employee, what are the standards when it comes to those specific areas of how customers should be greeted, what are the ways that upselling, this is training they've already had, but they're not doing it anywhere near consistently. So we would like the store manager to write these behaviors down so that the store manager himself or herself is able to articulate the desired behaviors. Obstacles then are discussed, obstacles to performance management with the participants. What are the reasons why some of these things are not being enforced and not being practiced 100% of the time, which is what the organization expects and wants. We cover skills for formal performance evaluation when in those periods twice a year where the organization, the manager sits down with the employee, fills out a review form. How do you do that effectively? How do you do it well so that you're conveying the urgency of these standards to employees, so that it's not just done in a slipshod way, it's not done in a superficial way? What are the skills that go into conducting the formal review process in an effective way? And that's followed by a section on everyday performance management. Even more important than the twice a year is the everyday, the pats on the back, the comments, the constructive criticism that can be offered, given, take an employee aside when they've done something either wrong or something that's not optimal in their interaction with the customer. So these are the everyday performance items that we cover in this section. We do some practice with that. We do role playing with that. How does a manager have those conversations in an effective way, in a challenging way, in an encouraging way, and conveying to the employees the importance and the fact that these are not negotiable, that these are 100% expectations. So it takes a little skill to do that in a way that conveys both the importance, the non-negotiability of it, and at the same time in an encouraging way as a coach, and to be both mentor and coach and manager at the same time. The manager needs to walk that line and needs to be able to achieve both those things. We cover a section what we call performance improvement plans for the underperforming employee to write down. This is apart from the twice a year performance evaluation that's done formally. When necessary with certain employees, the manager needs to sit down and write down these are the steps that it's going to take for you to improve your employment to get to a level that is acceptable. Right now, it is not acceptable. Manager needs to be good at having those conversations, needs practice at doing it. A lot of people, especially those with lesser experience, not so comfortable having those conversations, so the more practice they get at doing it, feedback, the better and more effective they can be at it. We also cover discipline and termination. This is not a big part of that. That's the subject of other workshops and training that I do. So I don't spend a huge amount of time on that, but I do cover that. It's important for managers when we're talking about performance management to know that these are areas that they need to be capable in too. And it does send a message to other employees when somebody's employment is terminated that we do mean business about this. Some of these things that we're covering, as we say, are not negotiable, and the manager needs to show that sometimes with very concrete actions. So the final piece that we cover in the performance management workshop is the planning, ongoing planning for store managers on how to conduct throughout the year effective everyday and formal performance management. So that's the basic content that we cover, that I would be covering in this performance management workshop.